and a very warm welcome. I am Ruchi Sharma. The NFT market is going through a major meltdown. NFT sales volume has been declining continuously. NFT sales have reduced to half since January 2023. The floor prices of top-tier collections like Bored Ape Yacht Club and Azuki have sunk to two-year lows. How will this impact the NFT market? To answer these questions and many more, we have a special guest with us, Mr. Sunil David, digital technology consultant. Welcome to 3 TV, Mr. Sunil.
Thank you for having me, Ruchi. Pleasure to be part of this program.
Yes, sir. So, according to data from CryptoSlam, the sales volume of NFTs has declined for the fourth consecutive week. Sales of NFTs have dropped more than 49% since January 2023. The floor prices of top-tier collections like we mentioned, Bored Ape Yacht Club and Azuki sank to two-year lows. What is the reason behind it and how is it impacting the overall NFT market?
Right. So, great question, Ruchi. So, it's a combination of factors which are contributing to this. Number one, I think we are going through what is called the crypto winter. Right. That's number one. Second thing is, if you just look at the overall global economic environment, we are going through a slowdown.
Right.
There are certain pockets of economy which are doing well, certain pockets which are not doing well. But overall, I think the global economic slowdown is also another contributing factor. Third, Ruchi, is that we are also confronted with a situation where we have a lot of creators of NFTs, but the buyers, are fewer. So we have this supply-demand challenge, right, where we have, while the demand was earlier very strong, that demand has actually come down now. So that's number three. And fourth, I think, Ruchi, is I think the overall regulatory and legal framework, because see, there are certain countries which have very clear regulatory and legal framework around cryptos.
Right.
There are countries like including India, there's still a lot of ambiguity about this, right? Especially in the area of taxation in the legal standpoint. So I think all these factors together have really contributed to the fact that the NFT sales have actually come down. And one more important factor, which is, if you just recollect last year, there was a lot of hype about the Metaverse and the applications which the Metaverse could support.
Right.
And that hype has actually come down. I think the reality has dawned now amongst enterprises that, it might take a while for the whole technology to mature. And that also holds true for the NFTs as well. So in light of what I mentioned earlier, it will take a while for demand to pick up. But at this point in time, I'm not really surprised as to why the sales are down, Ruchi.
Right. So the NFT sales volume has been continuously declining for a month now. The sales volume and NFT transactions volume are also diving, but the number of NFT buyers has surged by 17.77%. So what do you think is the reason behind it and what does it imply?
Yeah, so it's a very strange paradox. While you have a big creator economy, a lot of people are wanting to, create NFTs. While that surge can be attributed to the first timers, I would attribute it to a lot of Gen Z folks,
right,
who are sitting on some cash and wanting to kind of monetize that and use it to buy NFTs. But at the same time, they are very cautious and a little careful in terms of making sure that when they're going to invest and buy these NFTs, they're really going to get value for money. Because I remember reading a report which said that 95% of the value of NFTs has come down over the last 18 to 24 months, right? So the surge that you're seeing, they might probably be there to pick up, when demand picks up, perhaps at that point in time, they might probably splurge and buy these. But I think they're kind of sitting on the fence, just waiting for that opportune moment,
right,
Ruchi, in my view. Yeah.
Right, sir. So NFT market has been really hit hard by the overall crypto market downturn. Platforms like Glass Video NFT are shutting down. Founders of Rario are exiting the company. Last year, we saw WazirX, Tessera and Form Function closing down. GameStop has announced that it will also shut down its operations in November. Why are NFT platforms and startups losing faith in the NFT market? And when will the NFT market recover, according to you?
Right. So I think we need to sort certain issues related to copyrights, IPR infringement and so on and so forth, because a lot of the NFTs that have been created are largely around digital collectibles, right? It's around art, music, videos, and so on and so forth. And a lot of the celebrities today are also playing in that space. And I think there is still some concern about IPR. For example, when somebody buys an NFT, whether they are in compliance with the copyrights, because we don't want a situation where somebody buys an NFT and hopes to gain in the future, and later on run into a challenge where there's a violation of a copyright, right? So I think there have to be very clear guidelines, especially as it relates to the legal regulatory landscape, country specific, right? So I think it's important to make sure that we have the framework, and also very important given that it's a global market, so to speak. There is very close collaboration between countries as it relates to the whole crypto landscape. I think that is very important for us to build. It will take a while for us to do that. But in my view, the NFT market will pick up once we address issues related to the regulatory part, this whole issue related to the copyrights and IPR stuff. And hopefully, when the economy starts picking up, then we'll probably find a lot more appetite, especially among the Gen Zs, who would probably want to buy NFTs as another form of investment, Ruchi, in my view.
Right. There's another issue of non-payment of creator royalties in the NFT market. So OpenSea, LooksRare and X2Y2 have made royalties optional. Yuga Labs and Rarible have reacted to this by blocking these platforms. What is your take on creator royalties, its need and the importance?
See, this whole royalty issue has to be, you need really legal sanctity for this. I think we don't want to get into a situation where you have contracts which have some level of ambiguity, because of which you run into these issues where the creator of the NFT, he might have probably, it could be a piece of music or piece of art from a well-known artist. And if he had very clearly laid out clear guidelines in terms of what would be those royalties that need to be paid post selling it, then I think you won't run into these kind of challenges, right? So I think it's very, very important to make sure that you have very clear terms and conditions defined originally when the contract is laid. And I think thanks to blockchain and thanks to the fact that you have smart contracts, that you can have those terms very, very clearly defined and executed upon once transactions are complete, right? So I think from a technology perspective, we already have everything in place to make sure that we don't run into these kind of challenges, right? So I think it's just very important to make sure that, in the beginning itself, that you clear out all this so that you don't run into these issues later on related to loyalties and all that, Ruchi.
So after OpenSea made creator royalty optional, Yuga Labs announced to stop NFT trading on the OpenSea. Since intellectual property like Yuga Labs BAYC and CryptoPunks heavily contribute to and fuel OpenSea's success, Yuga's 30-day volume is approximately 80% the size of OpenSea's. Without these IP franchises, what would these marketplaces do?
So I think it's a very difficult question to answer. I mean, some of these existing crypto marketplaces, they are kind of surviving. I think they're also running into funding challenges. Second thing is that they're waiting for demand to kind of pick up. So it will be and the runway, as they call it, that is the amount of cash that they have to keep these platforms going, the marketplaces going, is a little limited in that sense. So it's going to be a wait and watch approach, Richie, in my view. These marketplaces have to kind of be persistent, just be persevering, wait for things to slowly pick up. And then maybe they'll start seeing some traction, Ruchi. But at this point in time, I think it's just a question of wait and watch, in my view, Ruchi.
Okay. Bitcoin ordinals saw a sharp rise and an even sharper decline. Bitcoin ordinal sales volume had dropped 97% from May to August, but it's rising again. What is the reason behind the Bitcoin ordinals free fall, and will it claim as well as maintain second position in the top NFT sales list once again?
Yeah, so I think, Ruchi, there's been some development on the Bitcoin touched 60,000 at all-time high, but it's probably come down to around less than 30,000, right? I mean, I think when I last checked it, it's nearing it was about $27,000 to $28,000, right? So it's and that's the problem, this whole volatility of the cryptocurrency, right? So whether it is Bitcoin, whether it is Ether, or you name any other cryptocurrency, it's this high degree of volatility. You have these peaks going up, and then suddenly there's these drastic falls. So it's very kind of difficult to attribute what can cause all this dramatic rise or fall, right? So we haven't seen that period of stability where Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency really goes through that very stable price regime. And that's the reason perhaps is because of all the previous reasons which I said, the crypto winter, funding challenges, overall global economic environment being a little bad, and a lack of appetite, especially among crypto, NFT buyers, Ruchi.
On one hand, we see that the NFT market is declining, but on the other hand, big luxury brands and sports leagues joining the NFT industry during this so-called NFT market meltdown. Why do you think, what is the reason behind it? Why are they joining, NFT industry now at this point?
Yeah, so what I've noticed is these big luxury brands, whether it's Gucci or or even if it's looking at the footwear industry, like Nike, I know they have, NFTs for their footwear, but the big luxury brands, their whole target segment is obviously very different, right? I mean, they are dealing with HNIs, high net worth individuals.
Right.
So the market segment is much, it's a very kind of a narrow market segment that they're targeting. But this segment that they target are people who have the propensity to buy NFTs or pretty much any of their products. And the reason for that being that it doesn't matter what the economic environment is, these people will continue to buy, right? I mean, it's always been the case, no matter what the economic situation is. So I'm not really surprised that we are seeing that the sale of that going up, especially when you look at the luxury brands. And for them, more than wanting to look at a monetizable gain in the future, the fact that they own an NFT, they value that, right? And they're willing to pay a price and a premium for it, right? So there's a sense of ownership, a sense of pride that I own an NFT of a large luxury brand, right. So that it kind of gives them also bragging rights that they do it. So I'm not really surprised because of that. But that segment is very, very small, Ruchi, in my view.
Okay. So there's a lot of buzz around AI. What is the role of AI in NFTs? How beneficial will AI be for NFTs?
I think AI will play a huge part, Ruchi, because the fact that today we are living in an era of hyper-personalization. Right. So what will really differentiate one brand from the other is the ability to offer very personalized experience to their end customers. Right. And today you can actually leverage the power of AI when you're going to deal with humongous amount of data. You really are able to understand your buyers much better, their buying patterns, their buying behavior, past history, and so on and so forth. So AI will definitely play a huge part in terms of making sure that you're able to really target your specific audience, give them really hyper-personalized products. And AI will play a huge part there. That's one. Second thing is AI can also give you some sense in terms of what is likely to happen in the future. Based on past buying behavior, you would know what are the trends that might happen in the next 6 months, 1 year. And that will enable the NFT marketplaces to really kind of be ready to cater to that demand as and when it picks up, right? So AI definitely will play a big part, Ruchi.
Right. So lastly, what future do you see for NFTs and which segment of NFTs will gain the most attraction in the coming future?
So Ruchi, I think the NFT segment that will gain for sure would be, when you're building digital collectibles, especially art, music, especially in the media and entertainment side. I see that picking up as things improve. I would say it will take a little longer for those brands which are in the consumer segment. For example, those who are making, say, consumer goods, like it could be, for example, Seat, I know they kind of coming up with NFTs of the tires. Mahindra came up with NFTs of their vehicles, star vehicles. There are other brands who are dealing in the consumer side. I think that segment will take a little longer. But NFTs related to digital collectibles, especially as it relates to art, music, video, images, especially when we're living in this world of generative AI, I think that will probably recover faster compared to the other brands, Ruchi, in my view.
Thank you so much for having this conversation with us and giving us your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruchi, for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all in this conversation for now. This is me, Ruchi Sharma, signing off. Do like, share and subscribe to 3.TV. And for more information and stories, log on to our website www.3wordstv.io or scan the QR code.